Hey everyone, I'm Tanya J. Peterson with the Anxiety Schmanxiety blog on HealthyPlace.com. If you experience anxiety, chances are you might tend to overthink things now and then. For me, overthinking is a huge and hugely obnoxious part of anxiety. And for me, when I overthink, it's not funny at the time, but thinking about it, it's almost comical because it's like I'm one of those cartoon drawings. And when they think and they're thinking so much, going and going and going, and the mind is going, and then smoke starts to come out of the little cartoon person's ears, and maybe above them is these squiggly lines, just representing all these muddled thoughts, and they're just going and going, and that's me. And then just smoking and smoking, and then just poof, I'm suddenly enveloped in this fog, this smoke that is coming out of my ears from this constant over anxious thinking just will exhaust my brain, because overthinking is like that. It's just our brain is going and going and going and worrying, and it's just exhausting. And a lot of times we can find ourselves in this anxiety-induced brain fog. It's just annoying. It makes simple decisions feel almost impossible. I remember once when I was experiencing brain fog, my son had asked me for whatever reason to picture an apple. And I couldn't do it because my brain was so muddled and foggy. I could picture it, but I couldn't decide what kind of apple to picture. And then I got all off onto an anxious tangent about that. I'd be like, oh gosh, why can't I make a simple decision? Why can't I picture an apple? And then it was going again, and then whoop, there it was. So if you have experienced your own effects of overthinking from anxiety and then the associated brain fog, here are a couple of tips. My top 2 tips. I actually have a list of them. In the link below, in the comment, in the little description below, there's a link to the article on Healthy Place with 12 practical tips to deal with and clear this anxiety-induced brain fog. But I saved my top 2 for this video. And here they are. They're related, but they're separate. For me, the most effective ways to deal with anxiety in general and anxiety-related brain fog in particular, in this overthinking, are mindfulness and meditation. So they're similar concepts, but they're different. Mindfulness is basically a way of being. It's a new relationship you form with yourself. And the concept is simple. It's not always easy in practice, and there's a lot of different components to it. But basically, with mindfulness, instead of living in here, in all these anxious thoughts, and then in this brain fog, and in the midst of it, we extract ourselves and live right now in the present moment. And that can, for me, be really grounding, especially when the thoughts are worrying and exhausting me and enveloping me in this fog. I can clear that by recognizing it. And because it's pretty obvious, it's pretty easy to feel. It's hard to ignore anxiety, and it's hard to ignore brain fog. So I'm like, oh, I got this going on. And so I will shift and be present in the moment. And to get that fog clear so I can function well again, I'll use my senses. You can even do something as simple as the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 exercise. Notice 5 things with your eyes and pay attention to them. Just them. Pull yourself out of those anxious thoughts, and you're just looking and describing the object very neutrally, no judgment. 4 things you hear, same thing. Just notice the sounds and give your brain a rest from that overthinking and let the fog clear as you tune into those sounds. Maybe 3 things you smell. Again, same thing. 2 things that you feel. Notice 2 textures. And if it's appropriate, something you can taste. A stick of gum. A sip of tea. But use your senses to clear that fog, because then you're not up here in those anxious thoughts, but you're out here in the neutral world around you. And if something triggers those thoughts to go running again, just bring it back with something you can sense. And then meditation is another of my very favorite ways to keep a clear mind. Meditation, you're mindful when you're meditating. You're focused on something. But meditation is an actual formal practice where you're sitting or lying, or you're being still. Meditation can be moving. Maybe you're walking or doing yoga, but it's a formal practice, and you are concentrating, you're honing your thoughts on something, a movement, a flickering candle, your breath, the feel of your inhale and exhale, and you pay attention to your body expand. It's a time of focused concentration. And yeah, your mind will wander off, but then what you do is you bring it back. And it's a really great way long-term to keep the mind focused and clear, so we're not all cartoonish with fog and steam coming out of our mind and that scribbles on top and we're just everywhere. But we're settled, focused, much more peaceful, and we can live with calm and clarity. So those are my top 2. Visit the article for 10 more tips for dealing with brain fog. Give them a try, comment, share what works for you when you have brain fog, either here or in the article itself, but share your tips for dealing with anxious thoughts and brain fog. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next time.